Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's David Webb.
I'm Ariel Edwards.
We get nerdy nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. Welcome back, everyone, for a Thursday edition of the Nightly Morning Show here on twitch.tv/nerdynightly. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you are listening to it on the podcast feed, you can check us out live every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We do the show because we love it, and having you guys live makes it even more fun. You bring different perspectives than we have, and it's just better for everyone.
Yeah, it's a good time. There are times when, we gotta, hit the news and stuff, but it's really awesome to see your perspectives and interact with you guys and what you think about what we're talking about. And so, if you can make it live, we would love to see you there.
Yeah. We have a lot of PS5 news today, weirdly.
Yeah.
And part of that is because the PS5 launches 1 week from today. It is the 5th of November today. Remember the 5th of November, y'all.
As the week before PlayStation came out.
It's very odd to have the 5th of November be an anarchist day in the middle of an election where we don't know who the president's going to be yet. So that's fun.
Love that for us.
There's some Guy Fawkes vibes in the air. But let's forget about that and let's talk about how the PS5 launches in 7 days.
So I'm sure most of you who are planning on getting PlayStation 5s have pre-ordered, because that was what we were supposed to do and didn't, because Canada.
Yeah, so the PS5 pre-orders were a mess.
Yes.
They were a mess.
Yes, to be fair.
I was part of that Sony email exchange thing where I was going to be given the chance to sign up for PS5.
David told me in April we are getting a PlayStation 5 right when it comes out, and I was like, oh, okay.
We are getting one because I have to play Miles Morales. This isn't Miles Morales. This is Peter Parker, but I need to play Spider-Man.
Yeah. The
new Spider-Man game. Miller, Hero of Wind in the chat asked, what's even the PS5 launch title? It's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Spider-Man PS4 was one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time. And
Miles Morales looks incredible.
It looks so good.
Yeah. The video, what I've seen of the gameplay and the story, it looks outstanding.
And the character of Miles Morales that they introduced in the PS4 title and his relationship with Peter Parker in that game absolutely deserves its own story and absolutely deserves this growing universe that they're building for Spider-Man on the PlayStation systems.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to dive back into that world. The footage we've seen so far is amazing. Rhino looks incredible.
Yeah.
The fights look incredible. The fact that he does have a different power set is exciting, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Yeah. So I'll be spending PS5 money to play that game.
Yep.
And thankfully other games are going to come out on it.
Yeah, it's not like that's the only game we're getting, but it is a big incentive. And we did not pre-order, unfortunately, because that was a mess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
North Trooper in the chat says, I don't like the way they changed it to look more fresh. I saw the 10 minutes of gameplay and his fluent swinging really changed. I understand what you're saying, North Trooper. I do think, though, that is based on a character choice where Miles Morales swings differently than Peter Parker.
Yeah, I appreciate them making them a little bit different in certain ways, and what I didn't play the other Spider-Man games, and so this is coming from a perspective from someone who has only seen bits and pieces. But I think having that character differentiation is really helpful for players, and I think it's a really strong character choice.
Yeah.
I like stories that are character driven.
Peter Parker at the time of the game has been Spider-Man for I believe 8 years. Is the in-game thing, and Miles Morales hasn't, and so I think that it's interesting. I think that it is good for them to show the difference between two Spider-Men at different points in their career.
Yeah.
And have this game be a little bit more of a finding your powers, finding the adventure, finding your inner superhero.
Yeah.
In a way that the PS4 title, at the beginning of the game, you are Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're very... In fact, the only thing about Peter Parker's life that is working at the beginning of that game is his Spider-Man life, because his Peter Parker life is a mess.
Although I have to add North Trooper, it will be interesting to see how different it really is to play and what people like more.
Once we get our hands on it.
Yeah, like what's easier to use, what's a bit, I don't know, janky, or what works for, maybe one method really works for some people and the other works for others, and that'll be something really cool to see while we check out the game.
And Sensui in the chat is saying it's on the PS4 for those not getting the PS5 yet, which is true. However, I do wonder... I wonder how good the PS4 version of it is going to be. I know that a lot of the combat and the tactile feel of the new DualSense controller is built into the game. And so because you won't be able to have that on the PS4, because the PS4 controller the PS5 controller will not work on the PlayStation 4. Right. It is the controller is not backwards compatible.
Yes.
Although it can control the menu on the PS3.
What?
Yeah. Nobody knows why. Some YouTuber plugged it USB with a cable into his PS3, and the PS5 controller was able to control the menu.
Menu, but no games.
I don't know.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, so for those of you who really like... Hi, Fanta! For those of you who really like the... here's the thing. I'm very excited for the PS5 controller. Yeah. I have been Xbox controller my whole life. I grew up with an Xbox, and I have an Xbox controller for the computer. And I just found the PlayStation controller, it doesn't work for me. I just can't wrap my head around it. But this controller looks so cool, and I am probably gonna try and make it work.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to stick with Xbox controllers for the PC. Yeah. Because it is looking like the DualSense controller is not going to have the easiest compatibility with systems other than the PlayStation 5 and, weirdly, the Nintendo Switch. Yeah. Yeah, you can use the PS5 controller on the Nintendo Switch with an adapter. Yeah,
interesting.
But yeah, it is interesting, right? Since we're already on the topic of the new Spider-Man game, we got some news, not news, but we got a tweet from a developer at Insomniac, warning people that the game is out there. People are playing it. YouTube reviewers, critics, they all have access to this game now, and the dev on Twitter was literally saying, "Hey, be careful. Spoilers are going to start coming out," and the game comes out in a week.
Yeah,
and I found it really interesting that that a developer was like, "Hey. Watch out.
Yeah.
The people that we send trusted copies to are definitely not to be trusted."
Yeah, yikes. That kind of, I don't know what that says about the people that they sent them to. But sure, maybe they're just being overly cautious, because you know what, people hate spoilers, and maybe, to give the benefit of the doubt, it was accidental spoilers, even though I don't think that's the case.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because it goes back to The Last of Us 2 release earlier this year.
Right.
And people were kind of upset with Naughty Dog for those of you who don't know, if you're a critic or a reviewer of a product, like a movie or a video game or other things as well, there is an embargo, which is basically a contract that you sign with the provider of the material. In a lot of cases, embargoes are mostly about when your review can go up. So you embargo and you say okay, so the game releases on November 12th. Your review for Spider-Man Miles Morales can go up starting at noon on November 10th.
Yeah.
And so all the critics rush to play the game and have the reviews written. And a lot of times they have the reviews written days in advance, and they're just waiting to press publish on noon, November 10th. Because if you break embargo, they're not sending you a game again next time.
Oh, no. You are
You're done. Breaking embargo is a serious thing in journalism for media.
Yeah.
But sometimes embargoes also have things that you can't talk about, plot points that you can't talk about. There's these other rules. And when Naughty Dog put out Last of Us 2 earlier this year, included in the embargo was you can't talk about anything after the first third of the game.
Yeah.
You can't talk about any of the character deaths in the game. They literally went down this list of things that critics and reviewers complained about, because they were saying, hey, how are we supposed to
review this game?
Or even, how are we supposed to tell people what we thought if we can only talk about these moments?
Yeah, a third of the game is not enough to really get into the juicy details of it,
But having said that, because of that embargo, when I played Last of Us 2, I wasn't spoiled on anything, and I read reviews of the game when I bought it, because I knew that there was this embargo, I knew that it was spoiler safe, and I appreciated that they alluded to some stuff, but they didn't outright say anything, and I had a really great experience with Last of Us 2, being surprised by all of the elements of the story that might have been ruined in a, like, and then you switch over to this character's point of view moment in the review, that would have spoiled the moment. You know, I was on stream for it. I literally was like, what? No, what is happening? What? No, don't make me do this, you know? And
that game, oof.
I think that it's sometimes that secrecy is really important.
Yeah. And you know what? I can understand it definitely made the reviewers' jobs much, much harder. But as a consumer, it's nice. Like, you know what I mean? So,
for the Empire.
Cheers, thank you, McKinley. Yeah, that's a tough one, because as a consumer, I'm like, oh, great, I get to kind of know the vibe of this game without getting spoiled. Like, the only thing I can really equate it to, other than, like, Last of Us, because, like, I was there for that. I didn't play it through. I watched David play it through, and it was all, like...
You couldn't play that game.
I could not play that game. There's just no way.
I'm not being mean. I'm not saying, like, she wouldn't be good at it.
No, I'm just...
She wouldn't sleep. Like, I would...
I had Last of Us, the first one, for, like, a day, and then I took it back. I couldn't do it.
I would wake up every morning to her just staring at the ceiling like this, fully awake.
There's a reason that I watched it on Twitch, and I did not actually play the game. But I appreciated that I didn't know any of the story points in it. And, you know, it's the same thing, like, I'm going through a playthrough of Subnautica right now. And the game would be a much different experience for me if the story... if I was more familiar with the story, not necessarily, like, spoiled, but, like, I mean, yeah, I guess spoiled. But that experience of going into a game and not knowing where it's going is really fun. I like it.
Yeah, so I appreciated this tweet from this Insomniac dev. It just makes me wonder, like, why don't you trust the reviewers? What is...
Rebel was saying something must have already been leaked.
Yeah, there are leaks already out.
Yeah, so they're you know, it's...
Be careful online. The only leak I've seen, thankfully, was just some leaks from photo mode, so I don't really mind that so much.
Yeah.
It was basically just some in-game photos of some costumes.
Okay.
That I'm excited to see in motion, but it's fine. I'm not upset about it.
That's not the worst... end of the world spoiler, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like the spoiler I read the night before I saw Force Awakens in theaters.
A moment of silence.
Yeah, truly. I was like 12 hours away from seeing The Force Awakens, and I was on Facebook, and someone posted Han Solo dies in Kylo Ren kills Han Solo in the third act, and I was like,
just that? What a dick! Who does that?
That was their whole, and I was just. Oh my god.
I hope you just didn't spoil that for anybody.
Force Awakens.
It's been out for a few years now. Yeah. Like, yeah.
I'm so sorry he does what. Mac, I saw Force Awakens with you. Don't even try and pull that shit.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, and we saw it in 3D, and the movie theater where we saw it gave us, like, Kylo Ren 3D glasses, and then he killed Han Solo, and I took them off, and I just looked at them, and I was like, You
bastard. Did you get to, like, keep the 3D glasses afterwards, or did you have to put them back in the bin?
Nope, we kept them.
Oh, you kept them?
No, yeah. I don't still have them. I wish I did. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I'd be wearing them all the time, and you'd be like, babe, please stop. My friends are coming over for dinner. Please take off the glasses.
Please don't...
yeah, there was the famous, the Snape kills Dumbledore drive-bys.
Oh, yeah, that was a... Mm-hmm.
People
suck.
I had heard, because I was getting in line for that, and I had heard that people were doing that, so I just had my headphones in the whole time, and I was, like, in the zone to not get spoiled on it.
Nope. Yeah, Kate, the whole returning your 3D glasses is definitely a pre-COVID tradition. I'm sure that that's no longer going to be a thing.
No, because they get sanitized.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, they that's why you get them in that plastic, is because they get sanitized.
Oh, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that is fair.
I
just imagine like this like massive sanitation chamber, and they just like blast it.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. That sanitation is super easy to do, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. I'm more just worried that movie theaters exist at all come next year.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
North Trooper says, when we're free to go out again, I'm never touching anything.
Yeah. Full like hazmat suit.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because like we go out sometimes. We've been to malls, and like we have to live our life. You know?
We have to get groceries. We've gone shopping for. I mean, David needs like winter stuff now, and like we're gonna go
to an outlet mall.
Yeah,
I like outlet malls.
I like sales. We've like when we were in Calgary, we've talked about this. We went to the movies, and there were like 4 other people in the theaters, which is, I know it's such a weird thing to say. We went to the movies, because they were open, and it felt very.
And I
safe.
wanted to see Empire Strikes Back.
I mean, so did I. Like, let's be honest. I'd never seen one of the older Star Wars films in theater, and so that was really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where what ends up staying. Like, what changes because of COVID? Like, once it's kind of, like, dealt with, what habits and what do we keep from that era? Like, what becomes a part of our actual, like, day-to-day culture? And I'm curious. I think that, like, we'll be more like Japan, where you wear masks when you're sick. You just, like, as a courtesy and a sanitary thing, like, if I have a cough, I don't want to be, like, ew, you know what I mean? Like, just, if you're not feeling well, put on a mask. But other things, I'm really curious to see what we keep.
I might start wearing a mask, like, if I've got, like, a cabaret coming up, and I gotta keep the voce healthy. The voce healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If I have, like, a big show coming up, or, like, a big audition, you might see me in a mask outside, because I don't want to catch no shit from nobody.
Well, yeah, and, like, they're definitely not as, efficient as protecting you as they are protecting others, but it's still something. You know what I mean? And... like, that's why not? It's really not...
Yeah, I need the iPhone to get a fingerprint sensor because
the face
it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Apple, can you get on that, please? Thank you.
Oh, as if you care, you filthy Android user.
Oh, please, I can get a Game Boy emulator on my phone and you can't.
Yeah, well, you know what? That emulator might have a virus in it that steals all your information, and then suddenly I have to deal with new debt because people...
I'm gonna take that risk. Because it's Pokemon.
That's fair. Filthy Android. Oh, wow. The chat just got very lively on that comment.
The chat, I feel like chat's about to go head to head. I think.
I think Kate's on my side, though, so...
Yeah, whatever. I think Rebel's on my side, so...
Ah, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Rebels...
Muddles, you know what really matters? Muddles, whose side are you on?
Yeah, where is the Muddles?
The Muddles, yeah, we need Muddles' opinion, and then once Muddles has spoken, that's how this works. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I've said this before. That, like, iPhone 12 Pro launch seriously made me consider switching to an iPhone.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very, very nice. Let's get spicy. Anime sucks. No, North Trooper, we can't say that on Twitch. Oh no!
You can't.
All the senpais and waifus are about to show up and beat us up.
You can't say that. They're coming for us. Thank you, Rebel. I appreciate it.
Nerdy's going to get his iCloud leaked in the next happening.
Oh, I love how somehow we always get on this topic.
Yeah, somehow we always end up here. Switch. Oh my god, everything's going crazy. All right, that's the Miles Morales news, but we have bigger PS5 news.
Yeah.
Oh my god, North Trooper's losing friends in the chat quickly.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes.
The bigger PS5 news is that we found out this morning, in fact, that the PlayStation 5 is not doing any in-store launch.
Yeah.
If you have pre-ordered from a store, you will be able to go and pick up your console, but you are not going to be able to walk into a store on launch day and purchase the PS5.
Yep.
This is not because of stock problems. This is not because they are behind on production. It is purely out of deference to their employees. Their statement was because of gamers, to protect gamers. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but to protect gamers and the retail stores. And Sony has actually put out a call asking you not to line up.
Please
do not
don't.
show up. The retail stores do not need you to show up for them to tell you that they cannot give you a PlayStation 5 on launch day.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's a difficult thing, right? Because there's a part of me that was excited to run around town and try and find a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that experience is kind of exciting and fun, even though it's annoying.
We didn't. it's definitely annoying, but we didn't get a pre-order. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a PlayStation 5 this month. I'm hoping by Christmas we'll have one because I really want to play Miles Morales, and I'm desperately going to stay away from spoilers for it.
Yeah.
If any of my streamer friends, if you guys are streaming Miles Morales and I don't show up in your chat, that's why. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see anything. I've stopped watching trailers. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But Hero of Wind, there will be no launch party in stores for these games, which is interesting because last time I was in a GameStop when we were at Yorkdale Mall, I was having a conversation with the guy behind the desk about it, and he was saying they're like beefing up, like they were getting ready. Yeah. They were preparing for madness because...
And we could hear them talking about it, and they were worried.
They were very worried.
About, health and safety,
Because the mall was very difficult, was being difficult with them about how they were going to handle their lines. And the manager at the GameStop was genuinely like, I don't know how I'm going to run this in a safe way.
Yeah. With
COVID guidelines, with restrictions in Toronto being what they are. Mm-hmm. And so he was worried about mall security coming and busting it up. And I think that Sony... For the people running the GameStops, I think that this is kind of a welcome... this is welcome news. That they're not going to... They can just turn everyone who doesn't have a pre-order away, and they don't have to worry about the aspect of...
Yeah, I think this is a good call. Mm-hmm. I think it's the right thing to do. Instead of hyping it up in a way that is possibly unsafe, mm-hmm. Taking their customers and their employees' health and safety into consideration, I think they made the right call. And as Mello said at the top of chat, we'll just all line up outside our own houses for the experience at 2 a.m. and mm-hmm. then wait till they would open and then walk into our house if you really want that experience.
Yeah, and honestly, it does make me sad, right? I love video games. I really do.
Yes.
Video games have been such a huge part of my life and a part of my social life, and a launch of a new console has been this exciting day every single time for years.
Totally. There's the hype in the community, mm-hmm. You're all waiting in line together for this thing, and that builds a sense of community and camaraderie.
The day the Nintendo Switch launched, I didn't get one. But I spent all day trying to get one, mm-hmm. and it was frustrating, and I was upset and angry. But I remember that day fondly in hindsight as mm-hmm. this fun. It was me and all of these other gamers running around trying to find this thing that we weren't gonna get our hands on, and it was in hindsight it was this really cool fun experience that a bunch of people shared.
Yeah. And
the fact that COVID is taking away another one of these experiences, one of these communal experiences. For the first console launch that I'm genuinely this is really big. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know. I'm disappointed by this news, personally. Yeah. But I am I'm happy that they made this call.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is for the best. And, hopefully, I'm sure that this is a thing that will come back for future launches. Mm-hmm. It just so happens that 2020 is a really shitty decade.
It's a write-off.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think it's the right call. And we're going to do our darndest to get...
We're going to try and get one. We're going to try and get one, and we'll pay for it in 2 years. And we're going to put it on a credit card now.
Yeah, that's what credit cards are for. You get stuff now and you pay it off later. That's how it works.
So Scanny taught me that. You put it on credit cards and...
Yeah, for those of you who know Scanny, he's very excellent.
Mello in the chat is asking, is there a new Xbox console? Yes, there's actually two, Mello. So the Xbox is launching the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S.
Yeah.
The Xbox Series X is a true competitor to the PlayStation 5 as far as specs go. In fact, many people would say that it is more powerful.
Yeah.
Although we're waiting to see, we are waiting to see if this custom-made SSD that they're putting in the PlayStation 5 manages to push it over the top of the higher typical performing Xbox Series X. There's also an Xbox Series S, which is a smaller...
It's like your budget console.
The Xbox Series S is next gen, but it's also kind of not, because it's kind of less powerful than the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing about the Xbox Series S, though. We actually found out some news about that as well that we were about to talk about, but this is a good segue. We found out that the 512 gigabyte Xbox Series S has 148 gigabytes of mandatory system and necessary file storage taken up. So you actually lose 30% of your storage to necessary files on the Series S, which...
Nope.
For a console nowadays, I mean, honestly, North Trooper, thank you for subscribing with Twitch Prime.
Thank you for using...
You are so pale, my friend. You're so pale.
is crippling much of the Washington lowland.
Thank you, Brian. We really appreciate that.
I love that the morning show subscription has become being pale.
Yeah.
Come get pale with us here on the Nerdy Nightly.
I'm the leader in that aspect, so I'll teach you all.
Rebel Trooper, yes, that weird thing on top of the Xbox is a vent. Both of these new consoles have been designed for airflow.
Yeah, which is fine, but the Series S looks dumb.
Oh yeah, it looks like a weird speaker.
I hate it. Like I actually really like the PS5 look. There were a lot of memes regarding it, and they were very funny. But I actually I like it. I think it looks pretty cool.
It's big.
It is big.
It's so
like,
big.
Like it's large.
When we get it, we need to do like a size comparison video of the PS5 to like your body.
I'll just be like hiding behind it.
We'll put the Pennywise makeup back on, and you'll just peek your head over the PS5.
Yeah. So Mello is saying, is it just me, or is the hype very heavily sided to PlayStation? I haven't seen a shred of Xbox marketing, and I have kind of felt the same way.
Well,
it doesn't seem like Xbox is really trying that hard to compete, if I'm being honest.
Bye, North Trooper. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for all the subscriptions this morning, North. That's really, really, it's so unbelievably sweet of you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in your chat.
We will see you around.
So Mello, here's the thing. We've talked about this so much on the show, but I'm happy to talk about it because I actually think it's really interesting.
It is.
Xbox has given up on their desire to be a competitive console.
Yeah.
They don't have any exclusive games anymore. Because they're owned by Microsoft, all of their games that are on the Xbox are also going to be available on PC.
Yeah.
And so there is no longer a reason to buy an Xbox unless you don't have a gaming computer.
Yeah.
And so that's really just that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox is a gaming system for people who don't have a PlayStation or a PC.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is why you're not seeing any hype for it, because people are going to buy it. People get the new Xbox.
Yeah.
But there's no games that I can't already play with what I already have in my house.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's really not a strong argument to get the Xbox unless, like you said, you don't have a computer that can run those games, and there's Xbox games that you want to play. You know, you really want Halo, even though Halo's not coming out now for a while. That's a mess.
Yeah.
Hopefully
next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Microsoft seems to be banking on the getting the subscription money.
Yeah.
Because basically you pay a subscription to have access to all the games instead of buying games individually.
First, just before I jump into that, Mello, ES6 will not be Xbox exclusive because there are no Xbox exclusives.
No, there are.
Microsoft is not making any games exclusive to the Xbox line. Yeah. Everything on Xbox can be played on PC.
Yeah.
But what you were just saying, for those of you who don't know, you can subscribe and get an Xbox. For $25 a month American, you can get an Xbox Series S plus Game Pass, which is about 100 games right now, including launch titles. And for $35 a month, you can get an Xbox Series X plus Game Pass. So there is actually there's a really viable way to have an Xbox in your house, and I think that Microsoft is smart in doing that.
If you don't have $600 to drop, or if you don't have hundreds of dollars right now to drop, but you can budget $25 or $35 a month, then maybe this is the console for you. It just depends on the games.
But going into this next generation, how do you feel about losing a third of your storage?
That is a no-go for me.
Yeah.
That just bothers me in a way that I'm sorry, but you should sort that out. You can't, if you market that you have this much storage, I'm assuming I can use that. You know what I mean?
That's never the case, though.
I know. But even on your phone, your OS takes up a small percentage of that, not 30%. 30% is too high. And I think that they're going to see a big issue with that.
Yeah, and here's the problem, right? If you're going to market your Xbox Series S as your budget console, to expand your storage for the Xbox is at least $100.
Yeah.
You're not finding, because those pluggable the hard drives that you plug into them, they're expensive. They're not cheap because they have to be SSD, they have to be high speed. These games have to be run off of SSDs to be able to keep up. And so it's expensive to expand your storage. And so if you're buying the budget console, but look, you end up with I think it's 370-ish gigabytes of available space. Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, these names are getting too long. Just call it Call of Duty Cold War. Why is it Black Ops Cold War? I don't know.
Unnecessary.
Call of Duty Cold War is 250 gigabytes of space.
Yeah.
That's your whole... Wild. You get 2 games. You can literally have 2 games on this thing before you have to expand on your downloads, or expand on your storage space, rather. And I just wonder... For a lot of people, especially, especially gamers who are looking for a budget console... Okay, and here's a problem. This is why it's a problem. The Xbox is a Game Pass system now. It's not a game system. It's not a physical media system. Remember when we talked about not owning your physical media yesterday? You think you own anything on Xbox Game Pass? No. They are moving to a model where you don't own the Xbox in your house. You don't own the games on the Xbox. You don't own anything. You are giving them money. Yeah. And you own nothing. Yeah. Because if you want to keep your save files, if you want to keep all of this shit, you have to pay Xbox forever now. Once you start that subscription plan, in order to keep your games and to keep your saves going, you are paying Microsoft forever. Yeah. And that's why they're doing it, and it's smart. But the problem becomes... that's a download service. Yeah. That's not a physical media service. There's no discs. So you have to download games to the Xbox Series S in order to play them. Yeah. And you have no storage space.
Yeah. That's garbage. You can't I think that's a really bad move on their part. I think especially for this console and how they're trying to do things. Bad move. Bad move, I say.
Yeah, Rockmage, I would say that it's not comparable, though, because the Xbox... Rockmage in the chat just said 50 million people bought an Xbox One, which, of course, but Xbox One had exclusive games. I bought an Xbox One.
Yeah, just for Halo.
Just for Halo, yeah, pretty much. I played a lot of other things on it, obviously. Sure, Halo was for a long time, Halo was my favorite video game. Yeah. To casually play.
But now Xbox doesn't have exclusives.
And they haven't put out a good Halo game in a while.
So it's kind of we are losing reasons to go with Xbox, and I say that as someone who grew up with an Xbox in the house. That was my console.
Well, but our PC is as our PC is as good as an Xbox, we don't have any storage issues when we delete your VODs. I will buy Halo Infinite on my PC. I don't need an Xbox anymore.
Yep, Drifted is making the switch over to PlayStation, and that's just I think a lot of people will. Yeah.
I don't think Microsoft cares.
No.
Microsoft wants to sell games. Yeah. They want us on these subscription plans.
Or their Surface laptops.
Well, yeah, but they don't even care about that. They want you to have a Surface so that you pay for Windows and Word. Microsoft is in the...
They're really pushing for those subscriptions.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's bad for gamers. I think it's bad for games. I don't understand how the studios who make AAA level video games make money off of Game Pass. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. I'm sure there's a contract and it's dealt with, but...
If you look at Netflix, right? Netflix is able to make a $200 million movie a couple of times a year. Mm-hmm. But Netflix also has, like, 1 billion subscribers worldwide.
Yeah.
Netflix is raking it in. They don't make a lot of billion-dollar movies. They make a bunch of, like, $1 million movies. Mm-hmm. They make like, a bunch of smaller stuff. You can't do that with video games. These AAA titles are... The new Elder Scrolls game is hundreds of millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Every single big title on the Xbox Game Pass is going to be hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they have to make that money back somehow.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that getting a cut of $15 a month from people.
Yeah.
I don't see how the math works on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And maybe Microsoft does. Maybe Microsoft knows something that, like, about Microsoft knows a lot of things about economics.
They're
that
smart.
I don't know.
They're not hurting. I think they're doing okay. Does either of the Xbox consoles have a DVD player, Blu-ray player?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah, I believe so. The Xbox Series S might not, but the Xbox Series X definitely does.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Let me just make sure. I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing here.
Yeah. Just because, we've talked about that, like, when we get the PlayStation 5, we are going to get the one with the disc drive, because, we do have discs that we want to
No,
play.
the Xbox Series S does not have a disc drive.
Okay. Figured.
Or maybe I'm wrong. In this photo, there isn't one.
Did you Google, like, whether or not it has...
No, I do not think the Xbox Series S has one. This is the best. Isn't this the best thing to do on a live show? Is to Google things.
Has no disc drive.
With no disc drive.
Yeah.
So you are the Xbox Series X does. It has a Blu-ray player disc drive. The
Cool.
Xbox Series S does not. So you are stuck with digital media that you don't own.
Yeah. If you go with the Series S.
Look, I'm all for it. I'm all for it in some ways. I think Game Pass is great in a lot of ways. I think that Game Pass, because I also love, like, PlayStation Plus, where, like, you get old games for free. And, like, that's how I tried games that I never had played before. Yeah. I had never played the Telltale Arkham games, the Batman games by Telltale, and I really enjoyed it when I got it for free on PlayStation Plus. Mm-hmm. But, it's tough. It's definitely tough, and I don't know... I don't know. I'm hoping that Game Pass ends up being good for the gaming industry, and it just doesn't look right now like it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Have you ever played a Telltale game?
No.
Interesting. They're kind of like point-and-click storytelling games.
Okay.
But in, like, there's, like, one in the Walking Dead world, one in, it's like a separate story in, like, a separate part of Walking Dead. There's a Batman one. There's one called The Wolf Among Us, which is about a private eye who's a werewolf in a world of fairy tale creatures. That's really, really, really good. Wolf Among Us is great. Telltale almost went under last year, and they make great video games, and it's sad that they're struggling. There's a Borderlands Telltale games. Yeah, they're great. Guardians of the Galaxy.
So you mean like that old style, like when we first had like video games on like floppy disks and stuff like that, where it's literally like you like just click on things and that's all you can do?
Yeah, and there's like conversations that you have with people, and depending on the conversation paths you take, it changes the story.
Okay, cool.
So like Wolf Among Us is like a detective story and Batman is a detective story where like you actually kind of have to be a detective and like figure it out.
Yeah, I used to watch this show Mostly Walking on YouTube, I think, and they play through all these like really old games. It's these three guys and they're hilarious. It's that really, really old style like game where all you could do is just like choose to interact with objects. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them were like puzzle games. Like you had to figure out like what goes where or who to talk to about such and such. Like it was, that's super interesting. I've never played one myself, but.
Actually, so they did go under. Telltale is fully gone. The only reason the latest projects are being made is because the studios those Telltale licensed to decided to continue them themselves.
Oh, shoot.
That's really sad, since I thought that they had managed to come back somehow.
That's sad.
Wow. That is such a shame.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love those games. You're going to have to go back and play the Game of Thrones one. That should be something you do on stream.
I should do that.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
In some other interesting news, we're going to get away from video games here. Mm-hmm. in the show because we have some movie news. According to Variety, despite its $30 price tag, Mulan on Disney Plus is the 6th most streamed movie of the year. Number 1 is Hamilton on Disney Plus. Number 2, despite only being out for like a week and a half, is Borat 2, subsequent film.
It's already...
It's already the number 2 most streamed. Well, you've got to understand, it because of the Rudy Giuliani moment and like how political it was with the election about to happen.
Oh, for sure. And I've seen it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like...
We haven't watched it yet, but we need to get on that.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it. Number 3 is My Spy.
My Spy?
I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
I really don't. It might be that, it might be the one with, it's the kids movie. Yeah. Oh wow, that's the number 3. Okay. Number 4 is Extraction, the Chris Hemsworth film.
Oh right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Number 5 is Phineas and Ferb the movie, Candace Against the Universe. Good for you, Perry the Platypus.
You know what? Fair.
Perry?
I'll take it.
Is that Perry the Platypus? I love that voice. That's a great voice. And number 6. Mulan. And here's what's wild, right? So, The Old Guard is number 7.
Oh,
Charlize Theron, right?
Okay.
That movie was free on Netflix if you had a Netflix subscription. Yeah. And more people have Netflix subscriptions than have Disney Plus subscriptions. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So, we're in this weird place where this movie that cost... Because there were all these reports coming out that saying maybe Mulan didn't make very much money.
Yeah.
That appears to not be the case.
Yeah.
Because Old Guard did really well. A lot of people watched Old Guard.
Yeah, we watched it. We thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. I mean, Charlize Theron really carried it.
Yeah, for sure.
Made that film work just through sheer charisma. But it is interesting. I thought that Mulan was less of a hit than apparently it was.
Yeah, me too.
No.
I am shocked to see it so high up on that list. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy that Hamilton is number 1.
I'm shocked.
You are?
Yeah, a musical, like... It's just odd to me.
A political musical? I don't know.
Yeah, and it is Hamilton. Like, if it was anything else, obviously it wouldn't...
The hype about Hamilton, though, like, even if you don't know any other musical, I'm sure you've heard about Hamilton.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, I am a little bit surprised. I'm not shocked. I'm a little surprised and very happy. I
think part of my shock is that I don't think of Disney Plus as being the biggest subscriber base.
Yeah.
So I just expected it to be a Netflix movie just purely based on reach. I think what actually I think what Hamilton being number 1 says to me more than anything else is that at least for the month that Hamilton came out, Disney Plus. I think it means Disney Plus is doing better than I thought.
Yeah.
I think there are more people subscribed to Disney Plus than I had previously thought about.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign for Disney, obviously, especially considering they just restructured their whole company to be more around streaming for a while. But it is going to be interesting to see how these lists shift and change moving forward.
Yeah.
Disney is really coming for Netflix's crown. And it's that's wild.
And you know what? They've got the power and the money to do it. So
and the IP, honestly, Disney has the strongest IPs in the world.
Yeah.
You know, Star Wars, despite, people saying that the sequels killed the Star Wars IP, obviously they did not, because Mandalorian is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's on my couch. It's in my pocket. It's right there.
Truly.
Like, you can like go look around the room. There's a Yoda hanging from literally the tripod that the camera is on has a Yoda hanging on it.
Yeah. If you didn't know, we were nerds already.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see Disney use their IP to build a streaming service that can kind of compete with the streaming service.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? The fact that Mulan is number 6, I think we're going to see this model a lot more often.
I don't know, though, because they haven't announced, because Soul is going to be free.
Yeah, but Soul is not Mulan. Mulan, like...
I mean, I was more excited for Soul than Mulan.
Yeah.
We haven't even watched Mulan. Mulan.
Yeah, I know. But, we talked about the possible controversy with Soul with a large group of viewers.
That's true, yeah.
And Mulan is a remake of a beloved Disney movie, and they know that those do well based on previous experience. And so I think that definitely has an influence on that.
I have a feeling that any of that potential controversy around Soul... we were talking about on the show, just that, like, the controversy might be that people people, you know, because it's talking about life after death, people might want to bring their own beliefs into the movie and be upset that it does not fit into their beliefs.
Yeah, there is a large community that has very strong opinions about a person's soul and what that entails.
I think that once people see the movie, that's not going to be a concern.
Yeah.
I think that I have so much faith in Soul. It really is one of the movies I'm most excited about right now.
Yeah, it looks great.
Just because it looks unique. And I just love stories about musicians and their perspective on the world.
Yeah.
I also think that Jamie Foxx sounds so good in that role in the trailers.
Yeah.
I'm that movie's gonna break me. I know I'm gonna cry like a child through so much of it because it's a Pixar movie. Rockmage is saying, let's keep this in context. Phineas and Ferb beat Mulan. Is that a success? It's so different, right? Rockmage, here's the thing you've got to understand. And there's a reason why My Spy is so high as well on that list. Kids movies beat adult movies at home.
Yeah, because the kids watch it 87,000 times in a row. Like I did with Shrek.
No one is watching Mulan 5 times in a row in a day, but I guarantee you children are watching Phineas and Ferb and then hitting start, and then hitting start, and then hitting start.
Even if they're not there the whole time, it's just on. And kids are home more often right now because of the pandemic. We haven't seen the movie, so we can't really based on we can't talk based on the content of the movie.
But it's Phineas and Ferb. I'm sure it's great.
I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
But the numbers are going to be like it's something you have to take into consideration that kids are all home right now. Parents need a way to distract their children while they're trying to work, and like Netflix is a great way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, my niece and nephew, when we were in Calgary staying with my parents, my niece and nephew would come over and spend the night once a week for movie night with Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
And they just watched Frozen 2 every week. That's the only movie they wanted to see.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my stepdad kept renting it. And I was like, just buy the movie. Like, why have you not bought this? Why are you renting this again? Why are you spending more money? I was so confused. I was like, how many times have you rented Frozen 2? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I know technically you don't own it based on our conversation 2 days ago, but buy the movie.
Yeah, at that point, it's like... And hey, you know what? If you watch the movie and you like it enough and it's good, buy it. So that, you have it and you can watch it again.
Well, it's like that Love and Monsters. We watched that new Love and Monsters movie, and I was looking at it, I was like, it's $19.99 to rent, or it's $25 to buy. Yeah. So I bought it, and now I own a movie that, thankfully, ended up being really good.
Thankfully is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I would watch it again.
Totally.
I know we won't, because... When would we have time to rewatch a movie?
Too much other things to watch. The list grows ever longer.
All right. Y'all, do you guys have any questions for us? We don't have any more news.
Oh, I have something that I want to talk about.
What?
What? Yeah, my, so we've talked about, that we would like to, use the morning show in a sense to help support our friends who are doing their creative endeavors. We want to put a spotlight on that. And I just want to shout out my two good friends, Ryan and Jess. They are dog parents. Adelaide is their Italian Greyhound, and they just brought home her sister Phoebe. They're very, very cute. So they're on Instagram, and they have a podcast. And they just launched a new push for merch, like a new kind of like Christmas themed merch. And so I'm gonna drop the link in the chat because it's very fun.
Thank you for being the raid, Rockmage. We'll definitely raid Fallison after this.
Thank you. Yeah, and I just I'm gonna drop that link in the chat for y'all because first of all, I bought a baseball cap from them, which has
which was a shock because she never wears baseball.
I don't wear hats. Like usually, I look very bad in hats, but actually, this one's really cute. Yeah. Actually, it's in our picture. There's a picture of it on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Of us welcoming into our new home. Yeah, I just want to throw a big shout out to those two really good friends of mine. Their pups are so cute. And please go check it out. They've been making and designing their own merch. And based on the hat that I got, it's top tier. I like it.
Robinson has you don't wear hats because you take showers.
Actually, I only wash my hair once every 10 days.
Which is what you should do.
So.
I don't use shampoo, so.
David never washes his hair. That's the difference.
Not once in the last. No, once in the last.
Well,
years.
when you put product in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Jess. Haha. We love you guys. Thank you. We love you, Jess. Robinson Hatton is the Iggy parents in the chat, and we're so grateful to be able to shout them out. Their Christmas launch is very cool.
They have like little like ugly Christmas sweaters, but they're actually really cute. And so if you like Christmas sweaters, I mean I'm probably gonna get one.
And you know we're probably going to keep shouting out other things on this channel. I would like to also throw out, I am raising money for Movember this month. It is a charity based about men's health. I'm going to be keeping my facial hair, letting it grow, and then if I hit $250 raised on my Movember page, I will be doing an entire stream dressed and speaking as Ned Flanders. It's going to be hilarious, hopefully, if it happens. We got our first pledge. Mello the Bard was the first pledge on my channel, which is great. Will you drop my link really quickly in the chat there?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, if you guys don't know what Movember is, please go over to the link and check it out. I think it's a really worthwhile cause. Prostate cancer has been a huge impact on my life. I've lost a couple of my grandfathers to prostate cancer. And yes, I have more than 2 grandfathers. Marriages are confusing.
Yep.
But I've lost a lot of men in my life due to prostate cancer, and so I care a lot about this charity. I'm excited to be raising money on Twitch and across the internet for this charity, and it's going to be a good month of November. I'm going to come up with some other things, some other goals and stuff to help incentivize that. But the Ned Flanders one is the big one that I'm hoping we get there because I think it's going to be really fun, and yeah.
And you know he's going to commit.
All right, that was us plugging some other people, some charities. I feel good. I feel like karmically we're balancing out my narcissism. But
wow.
BlindSeer in the chat asked if we've heard anything about the upcoming Obi-Wan show. And no.
Not really.
They are filming next year. The only thing we know is they are going to be filming in spring of next year. And there is a good chance that Hayden Christensen is going to return for potentially some Clone Wars era flashback sequences, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. If you this show lately has always ended up with us talking about Star Wars.
I know, I love it.
If you read into the line that Vader says in A New Hope, where he says, "Last time we met, I'm paraphrasing and I hate that, but I was the apprentice and now I'm the master." It doesn't really say that the last time that they saw each other was Mustafar. So there is room for Vader to be the villain of this series, which I think should happen. And it's because there isn't really another person in Obi-Wan's life, because Duchess Satine has passed away at that point. There isn't another character in Obi-Wan's life who can emotionally have the same impact. So if you're going to do one season of this, you gotta have it be Vader. You gotta pull out the big guns. And having flashbacks to Clone Wars era would be amazing. To match this like modern Battle of Wits versus their friendship and have both of those in a series together would be incredible. And I hope that it happens. I'm very excited for the Obi-Wan show, but we won't get that. Oh my gosh, my voice is going. We won't get that until probably early 2022, I'm going to assume. If it's filming in like April, May next year. Yeah. Production, everything. I'm assuming we're going to get Mandalorian Season 3 October, November next year, like this year. Yeah. And then we'll get Obi-Wan Kenobi March, April 2022. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Yeah, that just gives them time to edit and do all the special effects and... Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I have a feeling that's the way that's going to go, probably. Yeah, we don't really have any news about it, mostly just speculation at this point. Well, they don't know, right? Like, I think... and that's the tough thing. I think that everyone is kind of waiting for COVID to end to really push to go into production. I think Disney is assuming they're going to be in full production and that there will be vaccines and COVID will be kind of a thing of 2020 by the time they go into production in the spring. But they have to be realistic and acknowledge that they might still be in the exact same spot they're in now. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle that. Yep, absolutely. We just cross our fingers and... hope to die. It's cross your heart and hope to die, but that's fine. I know. I was joking. It was a yolk.
You're very funny.
It was a big ol' egg yolk with lots of cholesterol. USA leading the way yet again. Gotta love it. No, you don't.
You don't have to love it.
I heard today there may be a new strain of COVID. Great, Miller.
Let's not end on that.
Who doesn't love 2020 at this point, huh?
Gosh. But I think Muddles is right. I think from now on we need to find a way to end on Star Wars every time.
I could.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
I could.
100%.
I really don't love it, Kate. Neither do I. Neither do I.
Yeah, that's the news.
That's the news. It was a lot of video game news today.
A lot of video game news, and you know what? It makes sense that's PlayStation 5 is coming out, Xbox is coming out. Like, it makes sense that that's kind of at the forefront of everything.
There was also a news story about how Baby Yoda and Mandalorian will be in the new Star Wars holiday special on November 17th, but that doesn't feel like news. Of course they are.
Yeah, they better
Baby Yoda is in everything.
Yeah, they better be.
Like our show.
Truly.
This is the closest Clarice and I will come to having an actual child. So
yeah, pretty much. That's, yeah. Other than, like, a hedgehog.
A dog. Yeah, one day. Sometimes when I laugh, I'm like, oh yeah, I do laugh like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, sometimes. Alright, that's enough.
Oh no. Yes!
Well, that's the show for today.
That's the show. Yeah, we're gonna call it. Y'all, Clarus, big stream today. Big stream today.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Subnautica
until it's over. So if there's like 15 hours left, she's playing all 15.
Well, that's the thing. I think I'm gonna get an early start today. I think I'm gonna hop on at like 12:30, 1 o'clock ish.
Dope.
Because I think I'm like right at the end of the game, and
what if there's only like 30 more minutes?
Well, then I will play something else. So I'm going to. Here's the thing: I can make Subnautica last as long as I want. That's
true. You can just go like kill fish.
Explore. Yeah.
With your vehicles.
Oh my! Wow. So I'll be finishing off Subnautica later today, and then Skyrim Saturday will be happening this week. That's it for me. What about on the Nerdy Nightly?
I'm gonna be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We have one more show this week. That'll be our 20th show of this show.
Wow.
I know, it's wild to think about that we've done 20 of these. 19 now. And yeah, very excited for that. We are also going to be streaming tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern. Don't know what we're playing yet. Don't have a plan. So that's exciting and scary all at the same time. Need to figure that out. And then 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday is going to be the Star Wars Sunday. We're going to be playing some Star Wars. So very excited. Gonna have a fun weekend of streaming. And, hopefully come tomorrow, the world will be calmer.
Yeah.
Y'all, please follow us across the internet, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, at Nerdy Nightly, and at Clarus Dracaris. And also, check out, what else is there to check out?
Well, we want to say thank you to those who have bought merch.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Really, really exciting for us. This is a whole new thing for us, and to see that people are actually like checking it out, and it's really nice. I don't know. Thank you guys. It means a lot.
And also keep an eye on the YouTube this weekend. We're going to be releasing our Twitch clip compilations from what was last month? October? Yeah. We're going to be releasing our October Twitch clip modifications, and so we're excited for that. Clarus's will probably go up on Saturday before her stream, and mine will go up on Sunday before mine, publicly. Patrons, those will be in your Patreon feeds tomorrow. Y'all, I think that's where we're going to call the show for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for another lovely morning edition of the Nightly Morning Show. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, here on twitch.tv/nerdynightly. As we always say here, do something nerdy tonight. Bye-bye. Bye.